technique for the homeowner. Oop, there we go. You just started recording. Welcome everyone to the call. We'll somewhat start over, not really though. We're talking about making the initial introduction to the homeowners when you're going to have a discovery call. So again, going over the different ways that we do things. We do door-to-door, we do virtual sales, and then we do, of course, other types of in-person meeting. You meet someone at the grocery store, someone is an ambassador that introduces you to someone in person, things like that. What I've found is that the more that we can actually put ourselves in the conversation versus the topic, which is of course solar, and kind of leave that off to the side initially and just genuinely get to know someone for a good 5 or 7 minutes or so, helps the rest of the experience be profoundly different than most of the common door-to-door guys. Now, does door-to-door as a robot work? Of course it does. You see, countless companies that have had success with that. But if you want to have a sustained long-term business, which I think a lot of us are involved with Powur for, is we definitely want to. Sorry, if y'all don't mind muting your earphones, I just want to make sure y'all can hear.
You probably took the box back. The key back.
What you want to do is take the time to get to know the individual. Make 1 or 2 common threads, right? Hey, I see you like fishing, or hey, is that your favorite baseball team? A lot of, I wear baseball hats all the time. People wear shirts. Just spark up a little bit of a conversation that has nothing to do with solar, that will definitely get them to lower their guard down. Because if you're not talking about what you're trying to ultimately have them purchase, then it kind of detracts their mind. And when their mind gets detracted, they automatically kind of lower their guard a little bit. So that's very helpful in the door-to-door piece. And when you're meeting like random people that you haven't met before, if you're working with people that you do know, obviously you still want to make it very comfortable, because you don't want to turn a friendship or a relative type of relationship into something that's real clunky from the perspective of, hey, okay, I want you to buy this because X, Y, Z. There's the reasons do exist, but the way that you portray them and the way that you have these people buy into what it is that you have to say is all going to be geared towards the personal interaction that you have with them. So that's the main piece that we try to do anytime that we meet someone new. The first part of our conversation, and Lyle can attest to this now, we don't even talk about solar until about 5 minutes into the call. We just want to know about them. Tell us about your family. Do you have kids? Have you guys gone on a trip lately? Whatever it is, just to kind of, you'd be surprised, it kind of catches them off guard because they're not expecting to have a friendly conversation, and it helps just ease the rest of the way in. The next thing that we do is a little bit of a backtrack, okay? So that's the first part, the icebreaker. And the reason why I started with that is because, again, there's different ways to do it. If you're doing door-to-door, you don't have the opportunity to set that meeting up. If you get, run into someone at the grocery store or whatever, you don't have any way to set anything up. But in the event that you do, or after you make that initial contact where at least they know who you are, they know, ultimately what you're going to try to help them do, then you say, okay, well, I want to set up our actual discovery call where we go over the proposal, where we go over the options that we have for you that are going to help you and your family. You want to be as prepared as possible during these times leading up to the call, so that you don't have to worry about making decisions on the fly that are going to potentially impact these people's really large investments they're potentially going to make, right? So what I like to do, and I'll send this out again with all the notes, is we have kind of a scripted list of questions, and we'll either text it to them or we'll send it to them through Facebook message or even email. And what we do is we have everything lined out. I'm going to go over them real quickly because I had them on the initial slide deck, and so it won't take very long. But I just want y'all to get an idea of what we do, and that way you can. Sorry, did someone need to say something? Okay. What we like to do is 7 simple questions. Okay. The first one is of course the general stuff, and we say everything whenever we text it, or if we say it to them, in conversation. Everything is super matter of fact. Nothing is like, oh, do you mind, or is it okay if I get, like, leave those kinds of thoughts at the door. At this point, you've already had that conversation. You're kind of buddies, right? To the guy, you'd see him at HEB and be like, hey, I know you, right? So you can just tell him, oh, hey, you know what? I just need a copy of your CPS bill. That way I can get the usage. When you say things like that, oh, I just need this. Send me this information so that way I can get to work for you. You'd be surprised how much that confidence and the way that you say that will instill the trust, and you start earning their trust. Now, notice I always use the term earning trust rather than building trust, because I feel like trust is something you definitely have to buy from someone, right? And you do that by showing them actions that warrant them rewarding you with trust, right? So when I take that confidence, it's like, I'm confident because I want to help you. I'm confident that I can help you. And the way that I can help you is by getting this information from you. So yeah, I just need that. So that way I can help you out. That way I can show you what I have that's going to really make a difference in your electricity bill. Those types of little small nuances, again, they set the tone for the rest of the experience with the customer. If you set the tone the right way and you earn that trust, not only are you going to sell a solar system, but you're going to start getting referrals. You're going to build a client for life that when they move, they're going to be like, hey, when we move, we need to call Alejandro, we need to call Matthew, we need to call Gil because we're going to need solar at the new house. That's the kind of guy that you want to do that. You guys that are in real estate, you understand this concept, I'm sure. So take that mentality and bring it with you definitely on the solar side of things. So number one, you just need, all you need is just your CPS bill. Make sure it has your name and address on it. Whoever owns, is on the actual bill. We need a good phone number and an email address. That way we can make sure that everything that does go to you goes to the right place. That's it, right? Real simple. Next question is, oh yeah, just let me know what your average monthly utility bill is. That way we can make sure that we're going along the same lines as what you guys are using and things like that. That's number two. Number three, oh yeah, you know what? What's the age of your roof? Like how long, when was the last time you had it repaired or replaced? Pardon my son in the background. I need you to go over there, buddy. Sorry about that. And so, tell me a little bit more about your roof, just to make sure it's not something that we need to account for, okay? Then from there we go, do you have anything that we need to know about? Do you have a pool? Do you have a hot tub? Do you have an electric vehicle or anything like that we need to know about? Things like that are, again, all in the first initial question before you even have the discovery call, before you even build out the proposal, because what that does is it gives you all the information that you need ahead of time to build out exactly what they need. And then you can tell them, hey, based on what you told me, I was able to build something that's perfect for you. This is what's going to really help you guys because I know that you have the pool. I know you guys are planning on getting a hot tub. I know you mentioned that your wife wants the Tesla in a couple of years. Things like that you can go back to. And it's like, oh, this guy's listening. Oh, this guy does pay attention to what's going on in my life. And he does, or this woman, want to make sure everyone's covered for, right? But, these people do care about what's going on and they want to actually be, they want to be relative to what is actually going on in my life. They're not just saying, oh, this is the size of your house, this is the system you need. We see that all too often with these companies that don't have anything invested from the seller's perspective. So they're just trying to make sales, and we see undersized systems. We see systems that don't match what the usage is and things like that. And so we want to be able to speak to not only the fact that we care, but we can also go back to showing that, hey, this is why exactly the reason that we have this system built for you. And this is why we have it built to this size. And this is what the size is going to do for you because you have XYZ associated with your home. When you're able to talk like that, again, it kind of gets those guards down because they're saying, oh, he's accounting for the things that I told him. He's not just sitting here, trying to sell me something that I may or may not really need or know that I need. So that's there as well. And then the last couple of questions that we ask is ones that I really, really build on. Okay. One of them is for the square footage as well. Again, I'm sending all this out to you guys so you'll have access to this. You can use it as much or as little as you want, modify it and make it your own. But I ask for square footage. And then I ask them, hey, do you know if you live on a protected grid, like when snowpocalypse happened or snowvid or whatever, make up that little word that people like to use and get a chuckle out of. When that happened, did y'all lose power? And the reason I ask is because if you did, we may need to discuss, a battery option, or have you guys discussed an option of having a battery? It leads into that conversation. If they don't, they're like, oh no, we live next to a hospital, we don't have to worry about it. Well, then you can still continue to build trust by saying, okay, good. I wanted to make sure that you didn't need something to sustain you in those types of situations. So what I'll do is I'll just make a note that that's not something that is needed. Because in all honesty, even though you'll see on forums, you'll see on Facebook groups and everything, everyone pushes battery, push battery, push battery. Yeah, you want to when you can. You want to do it but you want to do it from an ethical perspective, right? If people don't actually need something, you want to let them know, hey, this is something that we thought about, but since it doesn't really apply to you, I don't want you to pay for something that you don't need because I know that your money you worked hard for, and I don't want you spending stuff that money on things that aren't going to be helpful to you and your family. I'd rather you put that to something more useful. Those things like that, the small little gestures, go a long, long way when it comes down to closing the deal. But the last one, and this is the one that's most important to me, is I tell them, what is your number one priority when it comes to considering solar? What is it that you're looking to get out of this? Are you looking just to save money on your monthly bill? Are you looking for sustainable energy during your blackout, like we talked about briefly? Are you looking for a little of both? Are you looking, tell me, and then I let them kind of give me that information. But what I end the text with is, I want to make sure that my priorities align with yours. I know I've said this on several calls before, but man, if you guys can just bite onto that concept and roll with it, when you tell them that, you see, like, they go from having that glazed eye look to like, oh, you okay? So this guy has something invested in the conversation. If all that other stuff didn't work, when you drill that home and you tell them, hey, seriously, like, I want to make sure that my priorities line up with yours and that we're going in the same direction, they know that you're being serious about this. So you're not taking it just like another one bites the dust kind of a situation. And so we send that out to all of our customers. Again, this is before we even build the proposal. We get the information back and we use that to build the proposal. And what that also does is it guides us to the right type of financing options. So you look at this now, you have all of this information that maybe you're not used to asking for right away, right? And you start talking about it while you're on the call and you're trying to make adjustments on the fly and things like that, or trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. This kind of alleviates a lot of that for you. So when you go and you're building this proposal, you'll say, okay, I know they're trying to get the lowest monthly payment possible. What kind of products do we have that are going to accommodate that? And then you have strategies that you can build around there to show them, okay, this is going to be your lowest possible monthly payment. Now, if you're open to having a still lower payment than what you're paying to your utility, but also paying less on your loan altogether, I can show you other options. And you can then go into loans that have different dealer fees and things like that. I won't go too much into that detail because we've talked about that before, but I'm just giving you strategies to open doors for you to look at different options and have things already ready to show the homeowners once you get to this part. Because the more prepared that you are and the more it looks like you really took the time to build them something that is relevant to them, the easier it's going to be for them to say yes. So that's definitely a big thing that we do, again, before we even get to the call. Once we get to the call, you see, I apologize again, referencing my notes. It's very important to conduct yourself accordingly, right? So again, it's a little different because it depends on if you're doing door-to-door, you're doing a lot of in-person meetings versus virtual. It's still kind of be more or less the same, but how can I say, the level of turning yourself on can kind of vary, right? If you're door to door, you're in person, you definitely want to step out of your comfort zone. You definitely want to make sure that you make that connection with them. Again, before discussing any business, you want to make sure that you build some type of rapport with them. Don't be too quick. Don't be too slow. You don't want to linger around. The guy's got to go pick his kid up from practice and you're just there, talking about whatever, but don't rush through things and just be like, oh yeah, that's great. I like the Cowboys too. Okay, hey, do you want to buy solar? Or hey, let me get your utility bill. You have to gauge it based on the person's body language and the way that they're conversing with you. The more that you can gauge how they work, the better that your process is going to go. And very similar on the virtual side. Lyle and I do a lot of virtual selling. So from our perspective, again, like I mentioned earlier, the first 5 to 7 minutes, all we're doing is just talking and having a conversation. But what that means is that we have to be prepared to pull things out of the customers because not everyone is a talkative person, right? And you have to be able to have that discernment to pull enough out of them without either overdoing it or without doing too little, because you want to build that rapport. But having that cognizantly in your mind on a continual basis, no matter how you're meeting, is going to always be a plus for you versus having something that you have to go back for and then try to build rapport after you've shown them a $60,000 loan bill, because that's always going to be the backtrack. Oh, well, hey, everyone has bills, right? And you try to start these conversations. You're like, why are you trying to talk to me now? You're just trying to make me feel good about this bill, right? Everyone knows we're all adults here, and most of us, I'm sure, are homeowners or have owned a home or have had some type of responsibility for a large purchase. We know when someone's trying to sell us something, right? People can see through that. And I'm not trying to say to do anything that's unethical. Obviously, you want to genuinely make a connection with someone. You don't want to act like you're their best friend when you're not. But at the same token, put in the right amount of effort at the right amount of time so that it can take you the distance that you want to go. So once you get on the call, again, you want to make that definitely make that connection and then go into your product. Once you're going into your product, again, I'm not going to go into the details of all the different proposal options, but you want to just kind of tie things back to what the initial text or your first initial conversation was, to things that are important to the customer, right? So the reason that we have you in this, with this offset is because I know you said that you guys are thinking about getting a pool. I know you guys talked about getting a Tesla. I want to make sure that we're accounted for that. That way in the future, you have your solar bill and now all of a sudden you have this super high electric bill again, because you got this other item that's going to be requiring a lot of electricity, things like that. When you make ties back to what's important to them, it does exactly that. It makes them feel important to you. When they feel important to you, they're They're more open to what you have to say. They're more open to your ideas. They're more open to even talking strategy about, oh, you know what? I think I could probably do this and this and that. It's actually not that big of a deal. And you're like, yeah, absolutely. We can help you, right? And you're always willing to help them. So those are the things that we do while we're on the call, but you always want to make sure to make it very comfortable for them. Make things lighthearted. Don't be afraid to make jokes throughout the call. You don't have to be a jokester, but you can make jokes. You can make lighthearted comments and pause, if for give them time to react to your comment and kind of build on it a little bit and then go back to the call. I've been in a lot of trainings where the intention is very noble and that they're wanting us to be successful. They're wanting us to know how to be able to make these sales and things like that. But I think sometimes the technical routine of things get caught up in the actual real life process, and losing that understanding is what holds people back, especially when they're first starting in the business. Because there's a lot. I mean, everyone here that's either new or has been new, we were all at the same point at one point where this is just a little bit overwhelming. It seemed daunting because we had a lot of information to learn, right? I know even now the certifications are a lot more rigorous than what they were when we first started. That's a lot of information for you to soak in. So for you're trying to do that and you just hear tier 2 and you're trying to now give this information to your customer, and it can get overwhelming and you don't want it to feel uneasy, but it does. Well, these are those moments where you kind of say, okay, I'm a good person. I'm an okay man, guy or girl. I can have a normal conversation with someone. Leave yourself that time to do those things, and it allows your brain to reset as well. So that way, when you go back into your process of explaining the information to the homeowner, it comes out so much more naturally, which leads into my next step. Be the, how can I say, know what you know and let them know that you know what you know. What I mean by that is, whether you're a tier 1 and you're just learning stuff, whether you're a tier 2 and you have a decent handle of it, or whether you're a tier 3 and you're like, hey, I pretty much know the stuff I need to know to get this done. There's always going to be more to learn, but the stuff that you've invested in yourself, it's good stuff. It's valuable. It holds a lot of weight, especially when you're talking to a homeowner who knows absolutely nothing. So even if you only know 1 or 2 things and you're just barely getting your feet wet, the things that you know them and say it with confidence and tell them that, hey, you know what, this is exactly what I've heard about this situation. Or, hey, when you're talking to them and telling them about the system that you built, this is why I built you that system. I want you to know that I feel confident in what I'm showing you. When you do that, along with being personable, again, you're earning that trust. You're saying, man, this guy is taking everything that he knows and he's pouring it into this system that I'm considering to invest in. And that again, kind of, it brings them into your idea and your concept, and you're bringing them along with you in the journey versus sitting across from them trying to get you to give you money. That right there is a huge thing that if you can grasp onto to do that. Obviously, for tier 1 sellers, if you're using a mentor, you want to basically just take all this information that you're being given and write it down. Write down phrases, write down keywords, buzzwords that you hear said over and over again, and then research, study them. So, okay, what do they mean when they say, the offset? What are they talking about when they're referring to net metering, and or just little things that are a little bit new, but you hear them saying over and over again, and use those notes that you take to where you can make your own conversations about them. So even when you start making that initial call before you hand it over to your mentor, you at least have that confidence that you can say, oh yes, no, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Do I know everything? No, and no one's expecting anyone to know everything. But what you know, own it. Like, yes, I absolutely know this for a fact. This is valuable. This is a good investment. This is going to help you save money. And then from that point, wherever your stopping point is, that's where you hand it over and be like, yeah, let me get you in touch with, with my mentor, with my, with my senior guy, however you exactly refer to, your tier 3 seller that you work with. Then once you hit tier 3, it's the same thing. You take that more information that you've observed, that you've absorbed, and then you put it forward, and you put it forward with confidence. And just every time that you learn something new, you just reiterate in your own head on a daily basis, because the more that you do that, the more that it becomes second nature to you. And when it becomes second nature to you, then you can work it into conversations that you have with your homeowners on a regular basis. And it's so much easier to have these conversations. And you have now a brand that you're building for yourself. Christian's huge on this, and I hope he talks on it because he's like the master. I look up to Christian very much so when it comes to making a brand out of yourself. But the more that you have that confidence, the more you're able to package it into how you deliver it as a person, because that's really what you're selling. You're selling yourself, right? You're selling your experience that you've had with solar. If you have had solar on your home, take those experiences and work them into the conversation. Hey, when I did this, or when my wife and I did this, or my husband and I did that, this is how it happened for us. We worked with our project manager on this, and they told us this happened. Oh yeah, CPS did this, and during the end of the year, they're dragging their feet, unfortunately. But you know what? I know that they're going to take care of you because they took care of me. You know what I mean? Those little types of things, again, they help the homeowners to feel super comfortable in having the conversation versus being pitched a sale. I'm almost done, guys, I promise. The last thing that I like to do whenever I finish a call, again, putting myself out there for them, is I also let them know that this is not the end. You can Lyle attest to you, anyone else that I've worked with on the phone will let you know, one of my biggest things is I tell them my main goal is to have your experience be so amazing that not only you're going to want to refer people to me, but that you're going to know that whenever you need me, that you can call me and I'll be there for you. If it's something I can help with, I'll definitely be there to help you with. And if it's something that I can't help with, I'll find a way to get someone to help you with it. And driving that mentality to the end of the call, it really helps seal the deal. Now, not every call is going to be a one-sit sale. Not every call is going to be an assumptive sale. I know we've talked about that several times on different trainings, and those are great. Those are awesome because it makes things move along quicker. But in reality, we live in the real world. We're going to have those people that need to, take a couple of days to think about it, or they're going to need to, they're entertaining other quotes, things like that. That's okay. That's no problem. What you do is you follow up. You recap the call, first of all, and talk about anything and everything that you saw their lives light up about. If you talked about the tax credit, like, oh, 30% now? Okay. Bring it back, being okay, don't forget, we got that 30% tax credit, right? So, and say the number, $17,382.43, because that's going to register in their head, right? Don't forget, we have, if you're trying to sell the CPS rebate here before December, don't forget, we want to get that CPS rebate in before December. That's $3,000 or $2,500 in your pocket, right? If you're going to use the new customer incentive, hey, don't forget, we're using the program where we're going to get you 36 months of, your first 36 months of payments covered on us. 18 months of payments, however it is that you're doing it. If you use a fast pay, hey, 5 years of no interest. Can you believe that? I can just hear Javier, how he says it on his calls. He probably like 5 years. He's so charismatic. I love to hear him talk, but use it in the way that you can get the homeowner excited right at the end of the call, because those are the things that are going to stick in their head. If they need to go talk to their wife or their husband, or if they want to talk about it again, they're going to be talking about it over dinner and be like, hey, remember he said it's 30% now, it's 17 grand or something like that, right? And it's going to be things that they're going to talk about and stay in their head. Or when they go to work the next day, they're going to be talking to their buddy, be like, yeah, man, we're talking to this guy about solar, and they're saying they could get us a $17,000 for a tax credit, blah, blah, blah. Those are the things that you want to have fresh in their minds. So recap it at the end of the call, anything that caught their eye. The other thing that you want to do is you want to reiterate the benefits of going solar, so that as it pertains to their journey, right? Remember at the beginning of the call, we wanted to align our priorities with their priorities. If their priority is to stay, free from blackouts and things like that, and you talked about a battery, remind them of that. Now, don't forget, this includes a battery backup. So you guys will not have to worry about having brownouts or blackouts again, because you're going to be covered. Don't forget, we set you up to have you wanted to have a low, CPS bill, so we set you up with a little bit higher offset. That way we can take advantage of the net metering program. Those little things that you talked about that mattered to them, reiterate those as well, not just the savings or the deal or whatever. Make them both in there, so that way they have it done. The last thing that I do is I take all of that information after I hang up with them, or actually before I hang up with them. I say, hey, if you need to take more time, that's great, I understand. Let me do this. I'm going to follow up with you. I have a couple of appointments available at the end of the week. If you guys, want to go ahead and book those meetings, we can do that. I have Wednesday and Friday available, and I'll give them whatever time I have available. And then I say, or if you guys think you need a couple more days, I'll follow up with you. Either way, you're giving them the opportunity to take advantage, because you can test it what type of sense of urgency they have, and saying, okay, well, we don't want to wait too long. Yeah, you know what? Call it, let's meet up back on Friday and we'll go over everything again, because I think we're going to go ahead and do it. You'd be surprised if that will be the one thing that pushes them over, that one little hump that they're on. Or if they're like, well, I'll have to see. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll follow up with you in a couple of days, and then we'll look for a time at that point. That way you have plenty of time to think about things. Either way, you let them know that you plan on talking to them again. It's not just like, oh yeah, think it over, and if you like it, call me back. If you do that, you'll never hear from them again, right? But you don't want to be super pushy and be like, okay, I'm going to put you down for Thursday at 7 o'clock. You better be there. Again, you got to live in that middle ground right there. But you'd be surprised how that little small gesture gets me bookings. It gets people to reply back to me. Like, we just had someone the other day, they went on vacation, and as soon as they came back, they hit us up. Hey guys, we didn't forget about you. We just got into town. Can we meet tomorrow? Yeah, let's do it, and lock it in, right? So those types of things matter. They matter. And then, of course, you end the call. At the end of the call, we do it every single time. We send a follow-up email. I usually do bullet points. I just put it in the chat the other day because we talked about it in the Gus's call, the coffee with closers. But I'll put it out again in the slide deck for you guys to reference as well. I always, again, highlight the items that were of importance. I put a copy of the proposal in there so they can refer to it also. And then I make sure that they have every piece of information that they're going to need to make a good decision, right? Because we want them to make a good decision by going solar. And then from that point, refer back to it. Every single time I text them, hey, I just wanted to, see if you guys were, how you guys were feeling. I know we talked about this. I hope you got my email where I put on there everything about the tax credits, blah, blah, blah. And it kind of refreshes things in their mind because life happens, right? We all know that. Life happens. They have jujitsu practice like Eric does, right? Or they have something funny to laugh about like Christian did. And, and things, and they forget what's at the top of their head, right? And so at that point, you're being fresh in their mind, but they have something solid to refer to. They don't just have to think in their head, oh yeah, what was it that they mentioned? I can't remember. Well, let's go to Chuck E. Cheese or whatever. They can refer back to it and go over it again. So those are the things that we do when we do a discovery call. Again, I know it's kind of, I apologize about the situation with the PowerPoint. I'll definitely get that out to you guys. I hope it was helpful. If you guys have any questions at all, I'm here to answer them any way that I can help. But that's basically what I have for you guys. Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions? Comments, concerns? Notice my 4-year-old again. Sorry.
Hey, great job, Rob. That's super great info. Getting in touch with the customer and kind of making them feel comfortable with your presentation. That's awesome information because it definitely helps. Because like you said, they're making a big purchase, and if they're comfortable speaking with you, then they're comfortable sharing all that information that you talked about, and having the questions and everything up front. It just saves you the back and forth with them, when you're creating a proposal. If you have all that information up front, you can create the proposal and then you can move on with the presentation. But having to go back and forth, it kind of wears on the customer a little bit. They're like, oh, this person's reaching out to me again. So that's awesome info, man. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Looks like we have a comment from James in the chat. We're talking about the no payments that we pay for. I've had a lot of people ask why. That's fishy. Okay, sorry, it's like no problem. Okay, so yeah, when you talk about those types of items, the best thing to do that I found in my experience is to just be transparent, right? Is that we're putting them in a position to help themselves either upfront or help themselves later. And it's basically looking at it from the finance company's perspective. That's the way that I say it, is that, yeah, it's a promotion. It's put on by the finance company. You can either take the advantage of the no interest payment. Well, you're talking about no payments, so I'm assuming you're talking about the new customer incentive. You can either take the check up front, and you can either apply it towards the loan, in which case it's a wash, right? Because then you go back down to what your no problem. You go back to where you would start anyway, or you can use that to just keep your bill low, or you can use it to pay off another type of high interest debt that you might have. Pay off a car, pay off a credit card, pay towards something. There's all kinds of things that you can do with it. And I always mention that too on my calls, is that, look, this is how it can benefit you from a solar perspective. But at the end of the day, we're all adults. We can do what we want with any of this stuff. Whether or not you decide to use the ITC towards your solar loan, that's up to you. And I show them, I'll uncheck the thing. If you don't, this is what your payment's going to be. And 9 times out of 10, or maybe not 9 times, 7 times out of 10, let's say, it's still cheaper than CPS. It'll definitely be cheaper than CPS in 5 years. And I'll show them that graph too, where it slides over. I'll say, look, this is what your average bill is going to be in 5 years. So even if you don't use the ITC towards it, you're still going to be paying less money. And I'll show that, and I'll break everything down from that way. So that's a good way to also earn their trust, because you're being transparent. You're not just trying to be like, oh no, we're actually giving you money, or try to make something up off the fly. They're going to see right through that. And you're right, it does sound fishy and not to say that you've done that, but if you're not taking it, just right at them, it could definitely come off as fishy, right? Even though we're not trying to do that. But if not, you can always send them to. Yeah, no problem. But yeah, you can always do different things. And if you want to hit me up on the side, we can talk about it later.
All right. Hey, you know what, Rob, you gave a lot of great information about dealing with the customer. That's so important. People miss this step so many times. Building rapport, gathering that discovery call, the discovery questions to make sure that the guard is broken down. And, a customer will have a guard up. Hey, we're not buying today. Hey, we're not making any decisions today. Hey, I don't care what they say. We're going to think about it. But you got to break that guard down. And you did a great job explaining how to do that, Rob. Thank you so much.
Thanks, sir.
All right. So we have our next speaker, who is a powerhouse when it comes to marketing. He's a powerhouse when it comes to branding and marketing, and just kind of they call him the network king. I'm pretty sure you've heard of that before, but the network king. His name is Christian Montalvo. Mr. Montalvo, are you on the phone, sir?
Hey, Eric, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. Well,
hey guys, how are you?
Waiting patiently to explode on this call. So,
yeah,
give it to us, man. What do we got from you, my friend?
Yeah, I want to give it back to Rob. Rob, thank you for that great training. Eric, thank you for having us on the call. Quite frankly, I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough time to cover my topic. If anyone's interested,
I apologize, sir.
It's okay. If anyone's interested in getting some further training, tomorrow we will be meeting in person. We're going to have a business overview for 30 minutes, and then we're going to train for about an hour. So if anyone is interested, we are doing that physically tomorrow, right around the airport area, Broadway and 410. As far as marketing, I mean, again, I only got a few minutes left. Brand yourself, T-shirts, business cards, tagline. If you want to possibly get a domain name for yourself that sounds very different, if you don't want it to sound too solar, too selling, if you want something that is going to stand out to get people's attention. Some of you guys follow me on Facebook. You'll notice that I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 posts that have nothing to do with solar. I'm doing it to get people's attention. I want to do something funny. I want to have a meme. I want something that's going to strike curiosity. I want them to see the lifestyle, where I'm at, what I'm doing, what I'm eating, who I'm with. In fact, right now I'm in Houston with a couple of business. Here is even now, I'm traveling, but I am on the call. Part of that is because we want to get the word out to as many people as we can. We want to get an audience. We want a following. So when they least expect it, you drop a flyer, you drop a Super Saturday, you drop a training, a Zoom call, something is coming up related to solar or something in the industry. Hey, CPS is going away with the incentive December 15th. There's so many things that we can add of value to the consumer, to the audience, to the end user. So many things that we can add where they follow you because you entertain them, because you motivate them, because you inspire them, because they want to be like you. Maybe they like the way that you present, the way that you carry yourself. But at the end, what you want is you want attention. That's the best way to market yourself. Attention, be genuine, be yourself. You don't know how many times I hear from people, well, it's just not in me. I'm not like you, Christian. Well, I don't want you to be like me. Well, you have this gift, you have this talent. I don't want you to be like me because you have your own gift and you have your own talent. You just need to figure out what that is. Whether it's you giving back to the community, charity, your church, whether you're in ministry, it doesn't matter what it is. Find what is right for you. And then once you find that out, then you can use that towards your advantage, where people follow you, like you, love you, trust you, and they want to do business with you. Jacob? That would be in the marketing.
Does Jacob want to say something? Well, what's going on
I don't
there?
know. Jacob was, yeah, Jacob, I think when I said follow me, Jacob took that literally. He's right in back of me. But that is on the marketing side, guys. As far as you getting your name out there, very simple. I've been getting a lot of traction lately. I've been getting traction on a t-shirt that I made that says, ask me about solar. And believe it or not, on that ask me about solar, Excuse me, hold on. On the, ask me about solar.
Christian, what's going on over there? I guess Christian's having technical difficulties, guys. Let me ask you a question. By raise of hands, who's going to the Saturday training event? Okay, great, great. Alejandro, Jose, awesome. All right, Lyle. All right, we got Jacob, James. Guys, it's a great opportunity to invite your guests for Saturday. We're going to start at 10 a.m. and we're going to go till 4 p.m. We're going to have William Contreras, $1 Million Earner, that's going to be speaking, as well as myself, Houston, and Jacob Davis of Redbird Realty. Jeff said his 23-year-old son will be there. That's exciting. Sorry, guys. I'm also playing Mr. Mom. Okay, go. I'm playing Mr. Mom today. But yes, Saturday is going to be very, very special. So in the morning at 10 a.m., we always do a opportunity presentation. So invite your guests, invite anybody, even if you can't make the event, invite guests, get with me or one of the mentors and say, look, Eric or Christian or Rob, I'm going to invite, my uncle is going to be coming to the event. I'm not going to be able to make it, but can you please greet him for me and make sure he gets a front seat, right? The biggest takeaway from that event is helping you grow your business and also training you on how to do the business. So Saturday, we're going to have a lot of fun. Like I said, invite some guests, pick them up, bring them to the event. Hopefully, Jacob Davis, I don't know if we can maybe throw in on some of that lumpia and pancit that J Love was going to make and have some for the event. That would be great. But we always have a good time. We always have a good time. So if you want to learn more, it's going to be at the Redbird Realty office off of I-35 near Selma, Texas, right across from the Forum. And the flyer is in our messenger group with the address on there. Guys, promote that event. You never know who's going to show up. You never know who's going to show up. Matter of fact, Alejandro Lopez showed up at our event and he had just seen our flyer online. And he came up to me after our Saturday event and said, I'm ready to get started. Where do I sign? And here he is now. We went door knocking the other day. We had some good success. And I'm looking forward to him, doing well in Powur. So other than that, does anybody have any questions about tonight's training? Does anybody have any questions about tomorrow? Also, tomorrow, Wednesday, is Powur Live. Powur Live starts at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time, 12 noon Central Time, okay? So, Jose, 10 a.m. Central Daytime. I believe it's at 11 a.m. Central, Jose, 11 a.m. Central, Powur Live. We already be on the Powur Live event. Oh, for Saturday. Yes, Jose. Yes. Saturday is 10 a.m. Central Time. Yes. But tomorrow is Powur Live at 11 a.m. Central Time to get you some great training. And yeah, I'm excited. I had a customer, I talked about this the other day on a call. A customer called me back that wants to do business with me because their current company was taking forever to install their solar. So that was another 14,000 right in my pocket, right? So happy about that because it helps feed my family. And that's how you should look at this business. Write down your goals. How much more money do you want to make by the end of the year? How many deals does that equate to? And if you're a mentor, How many deals is that as a mentor, right? On average, you're probably making $2,000 to $3,000 a deal as a mentor and as a mentee. And if you're doing the deal on your own, it's about $5,000 to $7,000 on average. So other than that, man, we're growing fast. Do not cancel anybody out for this opportunity. Like, Rob was not a salesperson. Rob was not a salesperson. And look at him now. Look at him now. He's a mentor. He's doing great things. He's got mentor deals going on. And
Still not a salesman.
He's just a really smart dude, honestly. He's a really smart guy. He knows how to educate people. He's got a really good way of presenting the information. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to do this. You never know who needs this opportunity to help feed their family. Guys, right now, inflation is at an all-time high, and it's not going to get any better anytime soon. So who else needs this opportunity, right? Sometimes I had somebody, say the other day, it sounds like y'all concentrate on recruiting a lot. It sounds like you concentrate on recruiting a lot. And I said, well, I wouldn't say it as we concentrate on recruiting. I would say we concentrate on helping others earn an income on the side for their family that they really never knew about, right? So don't cancel anybody out. Reach out to everybody. See if you can get them to the Wednesday night event with Christian Montalvo, or see if you can get them to the Saturday event. Guys, the leaders in this area are doing this for you. We do this for you, because I guarantee you, I'm just gonna say it, man. I'll make $20,000 or $30,000 a month without anybody. But I choose to help you make an extra $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a month. I want you to do that. I want you to have a better opportunity for your family. That's what Powur's done for me. So other than that, I have nothing else. Let me check the chat box, make sure. How often are the Saturday Powur events? Renee, we're trying to do them. Thank you, Lyle. Renee, we're trying to do them once a month. Once a month, we're trying to do. Right now, it's like every other month, but we're trying to do it every month. And you know what? We need more participation. We need more participation from the team to keep these events going, so we can all learn together, all at the same time, all live in person. Because let's be honest, people do get tired of watching videos on training. They do. I do. I get tired of watching videos on training, right? You want that live in-person experience. And plus, we also want to, talk to other people and converse with other people live, right? So we really have to pull together as a team and support these events, even though you say, oh, I already know everything. Oh, I know this. Oh, I know that. You never know how your story is going to inspire someone else. You may not even be a speaker at the event, but you may shake hands with somebody while getting a water or while getting some tacos, and they ask you, hey, what do you do for a living? And Rob would say, well, I work for an insurance company. Oh, really? So do I. I was wondering if anybody insurance does this. Yeah, absolutely. Right? You never know who you can inspire. So, Jeff Garza, I see you, brother. Do you have any words of wisdom for us, my friend?
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Let me see here. I'm just trying to get my audio right.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
So the only thing I would add is just to stay with it. I mean, at the end of the day, obviously, most people who know me know I'm a real estate broker by day, but at night I'm an entrepreneur, right? So for me, I'm always looking to find out what's the future going to hold, what are some future opportunities, and what are those opportunities for in helping others, right? So for those of us who are here and for those of us who are involved in looking at what those growth opportunities look like, which obviously this platform is a huge growth opportunity. You know, even though we may not be a part of like the 98% of the world who's not a part of this, all we need to focus on is what we're doing, what we're trying to accomplish, who we're trying to be, and what our business goals and objectives are going to be in the future. So, you know, I've had the conversation with solar with a lot of people, right? Even realtors, right? And believe it or not, I actually know a ton of realtors who are not on the train. And if anything, it doesn't make me mad, and it doesn't make me like spiteful. It just makes me sad that there are people who call themselves entrepreneurs who are not willing to step outside of themselves to look for what is the next thing. Let me be in front of it. Let me be ahead of the curve. Let me learn about enough of something so that way I can be a professional, an educator, an advocate, right? And a change agent, right? Can I be the person that can help someone save some money, right? At the end of the day, with inflation and with the economy and with the midterm elections and all this other stuff that's going on, what's so wrong with being a change agent for a family that can save $300, $400, $500 a month? That's kind of a big deal, right? And so when you can be that person that can give some light at the end of the tunnel for some family who's barely scraping by, barely making it, by educating and advocating, like I think you just need to embrace that, So I guess really my message is this: be loud about who you are, be loud about the fact that you can help somebody, and never, ever, ever ask permission or apologize for having a solution to a problem we know they already have. So just be loud about it, be proud about it. And if people have a problem with solar, they're politically blind, they don't want to admit that it's happening, maybe they're not our client. But there are a lot of people out there who will say, if you can help me provide $300 or $400 more revenue back into my family, in my kitchen table or my dinner table, that's probably the family that we need to serve. So kudos to everyone on this call, and kudos to Powur and Eric for you having such a great organization, and for supporting everybody that really wants to learn and be that change agent. So that's really all I got.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. A lot of respect goes out to Jeff. He's a very busy man, very successful as well. And we're glad to have him on our team as well. He's a great asset. So, Rob, you killed it tonight. Thank you so much, man. You know what? You need to prepare another training, Rob. Okay? Prepare another training, because you did really good. Honestly, dude.
I'll make sure the slide deck works next time.
Thank you. And Christian, I don't know what happened to Christian. I guess he had technical difficulties, but hey, Christian, we love you too, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And all of you, thank you so much. If y'all need anything, you know to hit us up on the messenger or whatever. But hey, Christian, let's concentrate on helping others. Okay. Y'all have a great night. Take care.
Take care.